Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Climate Change Issues and asks, what advice has he received from iwi over the Government's proposed new approach for assessing carbon stored in registered post-1989 forests, and what is the Government doing to action that advice?
The Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, a key concern for iwi and the Maori Party has been the inherent bias in the carbon storage recognition under the ETS for exotic over indigenous species. This arose because of the very conservative approach taken to the look-up tables for carbon storage in indigenous forests and deficiencies in the data. I am pleased to advise that MAF and MFE officials have made very good progress on addressing this concern, and that the new look-up tables for indigenous carbon sinks provides 2.5 times the amount of carbon sequestration from that previously recognised. This addresses this concern, maintains the integrity of the scheme, and also provides inherent biodiversity benefits of additional areas of native forest.
Rahui Katene.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Supplementary. Does he believe that the Climate Change iwi Leadership Group has been engaged properly with, and if so, what will he do in response to claims from Wili Te Aho that the Climate Change iwi Leadership Group has been reduced by MAF to just another stakeholder?
The Honourable Dr
Speaker,
Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, yes, the engagement has been very constructive and progress is being made on what are quite complex issues. I remain in close contact with the chair of the iwi Leadership Group, Api Mahoika. The latest issue we are consulting on is the field measurement approach on which submissions are currently being reviewed.
Mr Speaker.
Rahui Katene.
Supplementary. What has been the practical impact of the treaty clause in the Climate Change Response Act, which specifies how the Crown must act in order to recognise and respect the Crown's responsibility to give effect to the principles of the Treaty of Waitangi?
Mr Speaker, the practical impact of the clause that was advocated very strongly by the Maori Party is that in any of the regulations that we have developed around the emissions trading scheme, we've had to make extra effort to consult with iwi and to ensure that their views are reflected in the decisions that the government makes about making the ETS work as effectively as possible for New Zealand.
Nikki Wagner.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Climate Change Issues. Has the Minister received any reports on how the ETS is impacting on confidence within the forest sector?
The Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, the reports have been very positive. After a record period of deforestation between 2004 and 2008, New Zealand is now planting significantly more trees than we are harvesting. After the deforestation of over 30,000 hectares up to 2008, we moved to a small point of credit last year of 500 hectares. This year we're expecting net growth of 4,700 hectares. Next year over 5,700 hectares. The year following of 7,700 hectares. These show that the government's modified ETS is having the desired result of improving confidence in the important forestry sector.
Question number 2, Craig Foss.
Mr. Speaker.